Welcome back to 360 Sports Network, here to discuss the impending BCS bowl games and other bowl games of note. I'm James Dotson, here with our main man, D-Lab. How's it going out there?
I'm doing good. I have mixed emotions about the BCS title game, a couple other bowls too. But it's always a good time of the year when it's bowl season.
Exactly. Bowl season has started. We just need to wait now 3 weeks for the first game. You know how that all works. First game's being on December the 17th, so just under 2 weeks from now. But let's start, yes, with the main conversation getter. January 9th, the BCS National Championship game in the Louisiana Superdome. Number 1, LSU versus number 2, Alabama in the rematch. What's your thoughts on the rematch here?
Well, I mean, I'm not happy about it. I mean, we already saw LSU and Bama play. Are they the two best teams in college football? Last week I would have definitely said yeah. But after seeing Oklahoma State stomping of the Sooners, well, I wouldn't say that. I would put Oklahoma State for Alabama. And because the reason is Alabama had their shot. They had their shot and they failed. I don't care if they lost by 3 points. They're not a conference champion. I don't see if you can't win your conference line in a national championship game. And Oklahoma State finished just behind Alabama by only a few points. And it's just frustrating. And I was rooting for Oklahoma State for a while now. I thought they were going to get some redemption after they lost to Iowa State, and then the whole plane crash thing happened. But yet again, we're stuck with two SEC teams in the national title game. Big surprise there, sick SEC dominance. And an earlier podcast a few weeks ago when we were talking about this, I said if Alabama and LSU we're still going to play for the national title game after playing each other in the regular season, I might stop watching college football. And I don't know if I can keep my word on that, but I'm getting really frustrated with the state of college football right now.
Oh, I am too, and I don't know if I can give up college football, but I will tell you right now, I will not watch that national title game, period. I don't find a rematch intriguing. Honestly, if they were in two different conferences, I wouldn't mind that much. But the fact that you have two teams from the same conference playing each other again in the championship game is, to me, they've just flat out said, you know what, there is no doubt the SEC is the best, period. You know what, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But I can't say that it is the right thing for a team to go, or for the BCS to go and put two teams in the same conference. You know what they've done? They've just put every single big recruit is now going to the SEC. They know that if they go to the SEC, they are going to the national championship game, period. They've set a precedent that they will not be able to get out of. And you know what? I'm hoping beyond all hope that this is the final straw and that we'll finally go to a playoff system.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best there. I was even going to mention that before you got to it, before I did. I mean, you might as well, yeah, the SEC championship game is the SEC. It's the national championship game now. I mean, you go to the SEC, you know you're going to be in the national championship game if you pick one of the top-tier schools. So, I mean, it's almost like might as well just make the SEC conference winner an automatic qualifier for the championship game no matter what. I mean, might as well just do that. I mean, we'll never find out because there's never going to be a playoff. So, no, I don't know.
And to me, college football was so great because every game mattered. Every game throughout the entire year matters, and you can't lose the big game. Well, now you've just shown that, yeah, you know what, you didn't matter what happened. Didn't matter that Alabama lost to LSU. They were still going to go to the title game. And I guess it helps when other teams lose around you too, but the fact of the matter is that you lost your chance. You couldn't even go to the conference championship game. And what I hate most about it is when you compare number 2 and number 3, Alabama and Oklahoma State. If this was the NCAA tournament and they were determining which of these two teams were to make the basketball tournament, Oklahoma State's resume 10 times better than Alabama's. And that's in terms of who they beat, the number of ranked opponents they beat, the number of bowl-bound teams that they've beat. I think that was Oklahoma State has beat 6 or 7. Alabama's only beaten 3. So just in that whole regard, I don't know. I just see when you look at the two teams' resumes, I have no idea how voters can put Alabama ahead of the Cowboys.
Well, I mean, yeah, you kind of said it best there. It's not if you lose anymore. That doesn't matter. It's not if every game counts. If you're in the SEC, I think that applies now. If you're up in any other conference, you have to win out just to have a sniff of being in the national championship game, it seems like now. I mean, when the two lost teams, I'm not talking about this year's Alabama and LSU, when the two lost SEC teams you get into the national title game, remember a few years ago LSU, and that's kind of messed up. I mean, it's not NCAA anymore, it's SEC football. It's just, but you can't stop a recruit from wanting to go down south, you know what I mean, and play for a Southeastern Conference school. There's nothing you can really do. They want to go there, they want to go there. Who wouldn't want to go there? Warm, prestigious programs. So I think that begs another question. I mean, what has to happen now, you know, to stop this? I mean, Oklahoma State didn't make it easy on themselves. They should have beat Iowa State. But still, I still think they're better than Alabama. I still think they should be playing for a national title game. So we can do all these what-ifs, and this should be and this should not be. It is what it is, but it sucks.
Yep, and you know what? Now we will never know what they could have done in a championship game. You know, that high-powered offense with Whedon and Blackman going against the big-time LSU defense and Tyran Mathieu. But you know what? Maybe we'll see a touchdown scored in the championship game. Who knows? But let's.
Oh, that would be a treat.
Oh yeah, that would be a treat. You know, a 9-6 game wasn't exactly too exciting to have a rematch game. But let's move on to one of the other notable BCS bowl games. The All-State Sugar Bowl got two at-large teams here: Michigan versus Virginia Tech. A lot of teams out there ranked higher than Virginia Tech, who was 11, Michigan 13. In the BCS rankings, who were eligible for an at-large bid. Boise State at 7, Kansas State at 8. Even Baylor at 12, a lot are saying, would be more worthy of a bid than either of the teams selected. So what's your take on this matchup here?
I think Michigan will win. I think Denard Robinson's a great athlete, a great football player. I really, really like Brady Hoke. It's great what he's done for the program there. Virginia Tech, obviously, will give him a fight. Neither of those teams to me are like big powerhouse schools in my eyes, but I just think Michigan's explosiveness will be too much for Virginia Tech's defense. And I know Virginia Tech won the ACC, but I don't think the ACC is really the toughest conference. I think it's the 5th toughest conference. So I'm going to go with Big Ten here. I'm going to go with Michigan beating Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I think I agree with that prediction. Virginia Tech, they only lost 2 games all year, but they were both to Clemson, and they got blown out in both games. Honestly, I'm surprised they stayed as high in the standings as they did. I haven't been too impressed with their play, but, you know, you win, you're going to play. And Michigan, again, I'm not sure that they're even the second-best team in the Big Ten that should be moving on here. But, again, they make it. And they end up with a pretty favorable matchup. I think you're right. I think Michigan can win this thanks to Denard Robinson. I'll give them by 10 points. I think they would win that one. So that'll be a fun matchup down in Sugar Bowl land a week before the national championship game. Here's another interesting one. You have the automatic bid from Big East, West Virginia, taking on the automatic from the ACC in Clemson. This is the Discover Orange Bowl on January the 4th. Does West Virginia have any shot coming out of the Big East? And they do have the good offense. Could they stick with Clemson, do you think?
I definitely think they can beat Clemson. But the thing is, the Big East is such trash. You never know which team's going to show up from any of those schools. West Virginia can look really good at one point and capable of beating teams from other conferences. And other times they can just, you know, lay an egg and lose to Louisville. They almost lost to South Florida, and they're a pretty horrible team. They struggle with Norfolk State a little bit. It just depends which West Virginia shows up. Clemson, they're a good team, but you know they always just find a way to disappoint fans and people who are riding with them. As much as I detest West Virginia, I'm going to go with them for the victory, but just barely, because I don't think ACC teams are that much better than West Virginia teams. So I actually see the Mountaineers prevailing. I like Dana Holgerson as the head coach. So they'll win the game by a small margin, maybe 3-6 points, something like that.
Well, you're right. These are the 2 weakest automatic bids. I think that's pretty much a guaranteed, easy to say. Clemson is just like West Virginia. They're very inconsistent, and Clemson's been more inconsistent lately than West Virginia, except for the fact that they just absolutely dominated against Virginia Tech. And I think that the Clemson defense is what's going to be the big difference in this game. I think they're going to make plays on the defensive side of the ball, and I think they win this game by 2 touchdowns, actually. So a little bit of difference of opinion, but you know what? When you don't know what to expect, that's what makes for a good bowl game. Moving on to the Rose Bowl, Pasadena, the Big Ten champs of Wisconsin, after a 3-point victory in the Big Ten championship game, takes on the Oregon Ducks, big winners over UCLA in their championship game. This is 2 top 10 teams in what's bound to be an absolutely great game on the 2nd of January. How do you shake this one out?
I think Wisconsin's going to win another tight margin game. Both of these schools are really both of these teams are really talented. I love Russell Wilson. I love what they can do. Wisconsin, it seems like they can almost just score at will at times. You look at the Penn State game, and they beat a very good Michigan State team. I know Oregon's played some tough opponents, too. They played LSU earlier on the year, but I really like Russell Wilson. I really like the Badgers, and I think Russell Wilson is going to shine on a big stage. So I'm going with Wisconsin by 3.
I think I can agree with that. I think Wisconsin's defense is going to be a lot more than anything Oregon's ever seen before. But more than anything, it's the size of Wisconsin's offensive line. They're going to control the game. Monty Ball is just going to run it up the middle all day, and Oregon's not going to be able to stop it because they're so physical up there in Badgerland, and they're so huge. That offensive line is bigger than a majority of NFL offensive lines. So it's a scary thought when you look at it, but I think Wisconsin wins, and I think I'll give them a 10-point victory over Oregon, even though Oregon's close to home. But it should be some nice Christmas colors at the very least with the green and red out there. Well, that's assuming Oregon wears normal uniforms.
Well, you don't know if they're going to pull out the urine yellow uniforms or how. You never know, so...
Hey, you know what?
We'll see there.
They could pull out pink uniforms, and it wouldn't surprise me. To be blatantly honest.
Yeah.
Let's finish it off with the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, which to me is like a national championship game, Part B, I guess. Definitely the number 3 and 4 team in the country. Number 3 Oklahoma State versus number 4 Stanford. This will be played again on January 2nd. This 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league, Brandon Weeden versus Andrew Luck. I don't know what to think in this one. What are you thinking out there?
Well, I'm kind of the same way. I'm not sure which team I really want to side with. 2, like you said, 2 great quarterbacks there. I think I kind of wonder if Oklahoma State kind of juiced out with their game against Oklahoma. If you know what I mean, emotions were running high that game. I don't know, after being disappointed, finding out they're not going to the national title game, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep that emotion, keep that juice going for a game against Stanford. Or maybe they want to prove everyone that they should be in the title game. I don't know. I really don't know, but for some reason my gut just tells me that Stanford's going to come out victorious and Andrew Luck's going to have a big game. So I'm going to go with the Stanford Cardinals in this matchup.
I think it's more likely that Oklahoma State will come out with a bigger burning passion saying, yes, we should have been there. We should be playing a week from now, not today. And I think you're exactly right, though. Even with all that emotion that they might have, I don't think it's going to be enough. Andrew Luck, with no support around him, still has led this team to a number 4 ranking, and they were in title discussion, very rightfully so as well. So I do think Stanford wins this, and I think it's because Stanford's defense will make more plays and be able to slow down the Cowboys' offense a lot more than it is the other way around. And I'll actually give Stanford just with a late interception, I'll give them a 2-touchdown advantage actually over the Cowboys. So there's going to be 5 fun BCS games. We actually never gave a winner. Do you think LSU wins the rematch, or do you think Alabama makes things really interesting?
Oh man, I think LSU is going to win. It'll be more than just a field goal this time. I assume, at least I hope, one of these schools will score a touchdown. But if I had to pick one school to definitely score a touchdown, I think it will be LSU. So I have LSU over Bama. But I like Nick Saban though, and I like the Crimson Tide. Always have. Of course, I'm a Pitt fan, but there's something about Nick Saban. But I think this game's going to Les Miles and LSU Tigers.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think the difference maker is going to be Tyran Mathieu. He's sparked that LSU team in a way unbelievable these last 2 games with a punt return for a touchdown, and just he's like a Troy Polamalu on defense. He's everywhere at every time, yet he's like a Devin Hester on special teams. If you kick it to him, he's taking it to the house. So he is just such a difference maker. I think that gives him the edge. Alabama, I think it's safe to say, outplayed LSU and was the better team the first time they played. And I think LSU is actually going to take that to the bank the entire time. That, you know what, everybody's saying out there that the team we're facing should have beat us last time. We're going to prove them that it's not going to happen. I agree, LSU, with only 1 touchdown coming on special teams, and that's the only touchdown in the game, I still think they win by a touchdown. I'll say a 13-6 final. And you know what? It might be a boring national championship game in the modern day of college football, but if you look in traditional, that's what the games used to be, isn't it?
Well, I guess so. So you said 13-6, and the score of the last game between these two schools were 9-6. So you think Alabama's just going to stay the same then, huh?
Yeah, I think Nick Saban is too conservative. He drives it down the field and then gets conservative and tries to kick field goals. And if you try to do that again, I think the same exact thing is going to happen. And you know what? More power to him. I mean, he's a very conservative, consistent coach, and that's a good thing. But at some time, you need to be able to take a risk and get a ball into the end zone, which he's never been good at, no matter what school he's been.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Nick Saban did win a national title, although McCoy been injured, so we really don't know what happened. But these are both great coaches. I know Urban Meyer has been. People say Urban Meyer is the greatest coach in college football. I might actually tend to disagree. I think actually might put if LSU wins this game, I would put Les Miles ahead of Urban Meyer, in my opinion. So this is a battle of great coaches, Nick Saban and Les Miles. I think Les Miles is going to prove after this victory that he will be the greatest coach currently in college football. So I didn't mean to just bring Urban Meyer into the conversation randomly, but what I'm trying to make is I think the greatest coach in college football is right there, right in front of us. So too bad it's still going to be a boring national championship.
Yeah, especially if they win, and yeah, it's a extra storyline if you're having trouble finding a reason to watch this game on January 9th. Pick one other bowl game that really intrigues you, that you definitely want to watch, that is definitely one you don't want to miss. Which one would you go for, do you think?
Oh, geez. I'm really not that excited about any of these bowls, but it will be interesting to see how Houston, Case Keenum fares up against a Big Ten defense. So I actually think that really will be an entertaining game. I do think OSU and Florida will be entertaining, too. Of course, there's, the storylines, Urban Meyer versus his old Florida squad, even though he's not technically coaching the game. So those are two games that I really want to keep an eye on. But nothing really, in my mind, is a can't miss, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I can agree with both of those. Just we saw Case Keenum struggled against Southern Miss in the championship game, so how can he do against one of the top defenses in one of the top defensive conferences? So Houston-Penn State, January 2nd at noon, if you want that one. The 6-6 battle of the Gator Bowl, Ohio State-Florida, that's at 1 o'clock on January 2nd. You hit all the key points there that, between the two programs and Urban Meyer switching from one to the other. The other game that really intrigues me right now, I think, is the Michigan State versus Georgia game, number 17 versus number 16 there in the Outback Bowl, same day, same time, 1 o'clock on January 2nd. You got two teams who lost their respective conference championship games facing off against each other, and another SEC versus Big Ten power matchup. So I'm very intrigued to see how that game plays out. But, yeah, I think I'm with you. Beyond that, there's really not too many big-name games that really, really intrigue you out there. I mean, I don't know, Champ Sports, Notre Dame, great team. They're playing against Florida. Looking down through the rest of the list, there's really nothing. Boise State playing Arizona State could be good, but, I mean, that's December 22nd. So just start right down the list, start watching the three games on the 17th, and just go right through because, you know what, it's still college football. Any game is going to be, hopefully at least, should be a good game. So, well, that about wraps it up for our BCS Bowl coverage, and 2 weeks from now, we will be starting to get ready and figure out who's going to be the top champion. Who is it going to be? LSU? Is it going to be Alabama? If Alabama wins, is it a split national title because they actually lost earlier in the year? You know, we'll figure out what's going to happen. Make sure to keep checking us out. 360sportsnetwork.com. Very likely going to have a bowl pick'em challenge here set up in the next couple days. Beyond that, fantasy football updates daily, and you can follow us on Twitter at 3S Network for all of your information too. So, for our main man Alex out there, I'm James Dawson. You guys have a pleasant evening.